Salute, salute. Late night live with your boy Burly. If you don't catch it now, you're gonna have to catch it in. You're gonna have to catch it on the playback. Smash that like button. Let me know where you repping from. It's your boy Burly. We here. We talking fighting. This is a fight channel, right? Alman Garland. Salute, 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 warrior. Tampa, Florida in the building. Yeah, yeah. Oh, we got Watts in the building, people. We got Watts in the building. Watts, California, yay. What's this, Frog? What's going on, man? Yes, sir. LA in the building. That's right. That's right. Smash that like button. Let me know where you repping from. We're going to talk about the autopilot feature in fighting. That's right, autopilot. This is going to tell you a lot about your fight skills. Smash that like button. 52 megawatts. Facts, facts. I like that. I like that. That may have to be a t-shirt or something. We have to turn that into a t-shirt. Okay, with G-Man. Oh yeah, salute, salute. Okay, fam. I know who you are. That was the thing. That was my first trip down there. Yeah, I know who you are. Salute, fam. Thanks for being in the chat. We up late talking. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take it to the late lives. That's right. We talking about the autopilot feature in fighting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got our coffee because it's kind of late, so you know we always sipping our coffee. Yeah, we're gonna give it a little bit more time for it to cook. See if we can get some more people in the building before we start digging deep on that fight information. Giving it to you the only way your Uncle Burly can give it to you. That real fight information, people. What really matters. See, they out there trying to sell you a bag of techniques. Uncle Burly ain't doing that. I ain't running around trying to sell you a bag of techniques or pass them out like they Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon cards and nothing like that. That is not the reality of fighting. So we're going to talk about over here, on this side of town, we talk about the reality of fighting. I know the fantasy is big. The fantasy is big. We all want to believe in the fantasy, catching punches, hit him, punch him in the throat, elbow him, knee him, you know, all that looks good. But that's not the reality, people. I'm sorry, that's just not the reality of a scuffle or protecting yourself in the self-defense situation. There's a lot more that goes into that. And if you train for these situations, you could be way better off. You could be way better off if you start training for these situations. And that don't mean you gotta be Mayweather. You just gotta have a good set of fundamentals that you train daily to make them habit, and you ready for the silly rabbit. Bars. That's right. You only need a few fundamentals to make habit, and now you ready for the silly rabbits. All right, let's get into this. 4 minutes just hit. All right. So what is the autopilot feature in fighting? What is the autopilot feature? Now, the autopilot feature lets you know one thing about your fight skill. You are severely lacking. You are severely lacking when you're operating on the autopilot feature. And I guarantee you, the majority of us are working on the autopilot feature. You know, the majority of people are working on that. How could you get out of that? By training how to fight. So what the autopilot feature is when you engage in a battle, you have no plans in your head. You're just fighting for your life. There's no plans. There's no traps. You know, you going second by second. You know what I'm saying? You can't really set no trap. You just reacting to what's happening. You're not responding. You're reacting to what's happening to you. And because of that, you're just in the fight. You're not, you see, in boxing, you know what they call that? You know what they call it when you step outside of the autopilot feature? Ring generalship. Ring generalship. That's what ring generalship is. You're controlling this environment of chaos. Because a fight is chaos. So when the fight becomes chaos, you want to be a ring general. You want to be able to set traps. You want to be able to walk people into punches. You want to be able to set them up. You want to be having conscious thought in a fight. People don't even understand how hard it is to have conscious thought in a fight. They just gloss over it. That's why these people go into these seminars doing these 18 moves techniques. They are not going to do that in a fight. They're going to go straight into autopilot feature. They're going to forget all of that stuff they paid for in the seminar and start fighting for their lives. They're going to go back to fighting for their lives. You know, your life could already be on at stake. But when you see, it's that calm. You know when someone is not operating in the autopilot feature in the fight because they calm under pressure. They in there like they in their office. They in the fight like they just walked into their office. They comfortable in there. See, that's when the autopilot feature, they done switch their autopilot to off. It's off. They're watching you. They seeing you. They seeing your bad habits that every time you throw your jab, you bring it back down here somewhere. Or you throw your right hand and it drops in your pocket before it comes up. See, they see all of that. And then they start playing off of that to set you up for the big shot. For the night-night, the sleep. They're setting you up for it because they're consciously in the fight. And that is not an easy thing, people. That is not an easy thing. Most people, I go see these young men fight, when they're in there fighting, it's like they're fighting for their lives. You know what I'm saying? But the ones that you see are the prodigies that are going to go on to be the, you know, the next great fighters. You can tell that they fight with a calm. They fight as if, you know, it's like a man, it's like these guys that climb the mountains without attachments. You know what I'm saying? Them free climbers. Them free climbers. You gotta have, you know, your level of fear has to be at zero when it comes to heights. It has to be at like zero to pull that off. They up there hanging off a rock with no safeties, and they're comfortable up there. They're comfortable. While you on the edge of the rock, scared to death. You gripping the rock with everything you got. You ain't comfortable. You ain't comfortable. See, and that's the same thing of fighting. When that autopilot mechanism is switched off, oh, you comfortable in there. You know, they say what they say. We cry in training so we can laugh on the battlefield. We cry in training, blood, sweat, and tears, so we can laugh on the battlefield. That means that you at war laughing. It's nothing to you. They up in there fighting for their lives, and it's fun to you. Those are the scary fighters. I'm gonna let you know right now. Those are about the scariest fighters you're going to see. The ones that get up in there and taking a punch to the face is like it turns them on. You know what I'm saying? Tech Lash, yes sir, yes sir. We got the late live going on here, talking our talk. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make our lives more consistent. So I said, man, listen, okay, what time it is? I'm going live. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many people I'm gonna have in the building, but we're gonna go for it. We're gonna talk our talk anyway. You know, they see it in the playback. If you miss it, you're gonna have to catch this in the playback. So the only thing that could turn the autopilot feature off is training, real research of training, and good sparring. And good sparring doesn't mean the sparring where somebody gotta go to the hospital. You know, there is really this mix up with sparring that you gotta go 100 miles per hour and you can kill each other. Y'all have to kill each other. Nah, you can land good shots. You know that's what it's for. You can land good shots, but you ain't trying to kill your sparring partner. You're trying to work with them to get the spiritual side of fighting down, because the chemical reactions that happen to you, the closest training thing you can do to handle that is sparring. Yeah, I need to come that way. Listen, man, we gonna get it. We gonna, you know, we hoping for a better year this year. That you know, we got the non-for-profit, and hopefully once we get it up and running, we'll be able to do a 52 block tour and get to some of these places that people want to see me, because I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see that Lyte Burly and you want to learn some 52 and you believe your area needs it, we can set it up, I'm with it. You know, I'm with it. Just trying to put it into play now. We're trying to put it into action. But like I was saying, sparring is the only thing that can handle the chemical reaction that happens to you when you're getting ready for a fight. And it's the closest thing. It's not the fight. You know, because you with your sparring partner, mentally you know that's your sparring partner. You know it's not the fight. See, when the fight is on, you're going to know that too. And so you're going to have a different, it's not even different. It's going to be more, it's going to be stronger. You know, that surge of adrenaline, that surge of fear. People, the butterflies in your stomach are natural. And that, now there are some fighters that I met that they don't have the butterflies, but they're in the small minority. The majority of us, like before you go to war, you should have some nervousness. You should have some butterflies because your life's on the line. Mike Tyson said he threw up before every fight. He was backstage early, throwing up his cookies. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't tell it because, you know, Iron Mike in the face looked like, you know, he was a pit bull. But on the inside, he was scared too. Because you have to be. If you ain't scared, you gotta be like a psychopath or something. Like, because, you know, no matter how good your skill is, when you step into a fight, you gotta know it's any given Sunday. Okay, appreciate that. Appreciate that belated birthday thing. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We working. So, you got to know that the fear aspect is what leads to courageousness. Like, you can't be courageous if you're not scared. Like, what would being courageous be if there was no scared element? It wouldn't be courageous. You would just be. You would just be being. You would just be. You know what I'm saying? But to be courageous, you got to first be scared. Because courageousness is you going through the feeling of being scared and still going and still execute and still performing. The show must go on. You one of those guys. The show must go on type of guys. So that part of it is necessary. So don't ever feel any type of way before a fight if you feel nervous. You're supposed to feel that. But if you've been training, you get up in that fight and you do what you're trained to do. And the training of sparring is the closest thing it's the closest thing to the fight. So if you do get the adrenaline shot, you still get the adrenalines, you still get the chemical reaction, but it's happening on a lower level because your mind knows that you're not in that type of danger. Just like if you was a pro fighter fighting, and then you left the fight and someone tried to rob you and you was fighting for your life, it would be a different adrenaline rush than what you just had in your pro fight. But because you are used to that adrenaline dump to some degree, you can still execute under pressure. With other people, they will be in autopilot. They will be in straight autopilot. Just, you know, we seen the fights. You know what I'm saying? They just in autopilot. Even some of these fights that are amateur, professional, you can see the fighters that are in autopilot and the fighters that are exhibiting ring generalship, meaning they're consciously in the fight thinking. They're observing what you're doing. They're taking in data. You know, they're taking in information like Terrence Crawford. That's one thing. Crawford is a bad mamma jamma when it comes to how he processes what you're doing and then works around it is incredible. You know what I'm saying? Because he is not in autopilot. He is watching you. He's in probe. You know, he got the probe going up and down, just probing you, looking for the weaknesses, looking for the places to strike. That's where you want to get to in your level of fighting or being ready to defend yourself in a situation where you may have to fight. You do not want to fight in autopilot. All of my fights before I really trained was in autopilot. Like, I didn't remember half the things I did in the fight. I come out the fight and they were like, yo, you threw that crazy uppercut. I didn't even remember throwing the uppercut. Yeah, tech, yeah, there's still merch available. You know, like we got custom merch. As far as the t-shirts, I put a pause on the t-shirts because I got to find a way because everybody got different sizes. So me, I'm buying a box of mediums and large. You know what I'm saying? And some of my brothers that support the 52, they're a little bit more brolic. So, you know, they need extra larges and 3Xs and 4Xs. And I was in you know, what I had in storage was never really right. So I need to find a way where it's like a custom body of the shirt so you can put in your size, send it in, shirt made off, sent off to you. I want to get into that process eventually of trying to figure out how to do that. But as I was saying, this discussion on autopilot is to help bring some awareness that you don't want to train without sparring people. It's necessary. Like, don't let nobody tell you differently. And sparring doesn't have to be killing each other, but it has to be something that raises you up. Brothers is country fed fast, but it has to be something that scratches that chemical reaction that's going to happen to you in a fight, or anytime your life is at stake, or you're in danger, or you know, any time of that, you're going to have a chemical reaction happening to you. Adrenaline, endorphins, all of that is real, and it's happening on like milliseconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, they showed one video of a man that was walking through the woods and he spotted a bear. The minute he seen the bear, his body already went into chemical overload. Started pumping adrenaline into his blood system so he could run faster. Endorphins cutting off his nerve centers. So if he, you know, once he gets attacked, he's not going to feel it. All of that is happening. The minute he seen the bear, his body already knew, like, oh, this could be a problem. So, you know, the smoothest amongst us, no matter what their profession is, they have mastered that, taking off the autopilot. Because the autopilot is when the adrenaline dump hits you and you're not ready for it. And, you know, you're no longer really seeing. Like these people that's telling you, oh man, if I get into a fight, I just see red and I wake up. Those are the people on autopilot. They're crazy. They're the crazies. They're the crazies on autopilot. That if you get into a fight, you got to wake up in jail or in the hospital, chained to the bed with blood on your face because you done ate his heart or something like that. That's craziness. That's craziness. That's not a level of high. That's not a high level of discipline. The high level of discipline is to be conscious in the fight, so you make the best decisions, and you know when the person has had enough. Sometimes you get fighting and you get lost in the fight, and you can just beat somebody into the afterlife. You would beat him straight into the afterlife when you could have been shown mercy. That's why we got referees in boxing. You know what I'm saying? That's why there's refs in there. Because without those refs, those dudes would probably keep hitting you and this happened. You know, fighters taking way too many hits because the ref wasn't on his job, and now he got brain damage. You know? So even for professional fighters, that thing is strong, and you can get caught up in that mode and can't turn it off until it's, you know, it's way past what you needed to do. You went way past victory. That's in the 48 Laws of Power. They talk about going past victory. That can be fatal for you, to shoot past your victory. And we see it with a lot of these rappers that's ended in jail. They just shot past their victory. You got the victory here, but yet you still doing this, and now you done sacrificed it all because you done shot past your victory. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You better count your money. You know, let me stop, so I'm going to have to sing the whole song, but you know what I'm saying. You have to know these things. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. And the only way you're going to know those things if you're not on autopilot and you're consciously in the game. So, salute to all my people that joined me on this chat. And best believe Uncle Burly will be coming back with more fight tips, fight information, and just fight conversations to raise the awareness of fighting. It's your boy.